is, while the government should be concerned about the possibility of travel advisories being imposed on the island due to high crime levels, its primary focus should be on citizens' safety. The United States has warned its citizens of crime concerns upon issuing a travel advisory for the Bahamas last Friday. With homicide rates almost in double figures, FADE warns a similar advisory for St. Lucia can be disastrous.
First and foremost, we should fix the crime situation for our residents, people who are living here, regardless of their walk of life. And I think that this is where our focus needs to be. Once we manage our country from the standpoint that St. Lucia is a safe place to live, then I think you can say it can be an amazing place for people to visit. But it must first be a safe place for us to live, for people that are living here, because these are the people that are most affected by the crime situation that are affecting us. The chances of a tourist being affected has proven to be that very slim. But however, one situation can blow out of control, as we have seen historically. The Bahamas, it's a very sad situation what has happened there, but if we are not careful, the very same thing can happen to St. Lucia. Tourism is a very sensitive business, and crime does not help the brand.
FADE says current crime trends suggest a deterioration of the moral fabric of St. Lucia. The opposition senator says the government is being too soft on crime.
Right now in St. Lucia, it seems as if the tail is wagging the dog. And I think we need to get back to the days when the dog wags the tail. The police, certainly law enforcement should show that we are in control, not you, the criminals. And it appears that the criminals are in control. And, you know, people tend to get that impression. I know that this is a very controversial statement, but at the moment, you know, I've seen videos of people in crowds pointing their fingers in the faces of police officers. This is egregious. This is wrong. And we need to make sure that people understand that the police is there to ensure that law and order is maintained in this country, and you should respect the police. There should be no disrespect. And so I think we got to get that part right to regain the level of respect for the police. And, you know, I think that people in politics can do well to make sure that they support the police more so that the police gains that respect. Now, you know, I think the St. Lucia Labour Party administration, you look at who supported them in the last election, they can't bark because many of the perpetrators of crime are their supporters. And so I'm not saying that all SLP supporters are criminals, but there seems to be a pandering to lawless behavior by the St. Lucia Labour Party administration. And so that's why you've never seen any government official from the cabinet come out and to speak forcefully and to say that we reject that kind of behavior and to say that this is unacceptable because their hands are tied because they need political favors from certain criminal elements of the country.
This year, the island has recorded 8 homicides. Agriculture officials are appealing to citizens to join the fight against predial larceny, defined as a theft of agricultural produce. Stolen produce, including coconut and provisions, are often retailed to unsuspecting buyers who are indirectly supporting a serious crime. Efforts are now afoot to beef up the capacity of the predial larceny unit to confront the problem. Tammy Frederick has the details.
Predial larceny continues to be a major concern for farmers in St. Lucia. Agriculture Minister Honorable Alfred Prosper spoke on this growing issue at a briefing room on January 29, 2024. According to him, the Ministry of Agriculture is working with stakeholders to convict perpetrators and dissuade potential buyers.
Fortunate that you go by the market and you buy a plantain or a hand of banana, but when you go and cook it, it has needles and pins inside. This is not what we expect from our persons, but as I tell you, the agricultural sector, you can invest your time and resources, but you may never be able to reap the benefits at the end of the day because of predial larceny.
The Agriculture Minister says the capacity of the predial larceny unit in the Ministry of Agriculture is limited, given that predial larceny is reported across thousands of acres of farms in this country. He is proposing the establishment of community farming groups to assist in tackling larceny.
Very unfortunate for us, but sometimes we don't understand the pressures that our farmers go through when they invest their time and money into production, but when they are ready for harvest, somebody else would have collected it. And that is why predial larceny is a major factor in the agricultural sector that we need to address.
Prosper says it is very unfortunate that farmers invest so much in their produce and are robbed of their benefits. From the GVD News.
The main opposition United Workers' Party is taking the government to task over frequent shortages of sugar and other basic commodities. UWP Deputy Political Leader and former Economic Affairs Minister Guy Joseph says the shortages reflect a bigger problem of poor management. He spoke during this party's press conference on Tuesday. Sugar is back on the discussion table. In recent times, consumers here have been forced to find alternatives or do without because of supply shortages. State officials have announced recent shortages are due to external factors including weather patterns and low production levels. But a former Economic Affairs Minister alleges the problem stems from proper management and the government's cash flow. Guy Joseph says the recent shortages of sugar is evidence the current administration is not managing the affairs of the country well.
You have a government that cannot manage the importation of sugar in a country. How many times have we had shortages of sugar? And tell me which other island in the Caribbean or in the OECS have had a shortage of sugar. My information is they can only afford to buy 2 containers of sugar at a time.
Guy Joseph argues that the government is finding money for entertainment ventures and not what matters most to the people.
Some of the canned drinks are so expensive, parents cannot buy it for their children anymore. But they can't even get sugar to squeeze a couple oranges and limes to make a bottle of juice to give their children to go to school. You think the government really cares about that?
The Ministry of Consumer Affairs has promised consumers that it has put measures in place to prevent further shortages of sugar and other commodities. But the former government minister encourages citizens to wait and see. From the GVD News Desk, I am Makiba Eiffel reporting. In other news, out of the Central Statistics Office indicates that the preliminary reports on the 2022 National Population and Housing Census is projected to be completed by June 2024. The census report is overdue. The Statistics Department is also in preparatory mode for the National Cultural and Fisheries Censuses, while also embarking on 2 initiatives that will improve the data needs of the public. More in this report from Glenn Simon.
There is light on the horizon for the 2022 National Population and Housing Census, which has entered the data processing and analysis phase, having recently completed the challenging enumeration phase of the census. Director of Statistics at the Central Statistics Office, Sean Mathern, indicated that his office is looking forward to the media launch of the preliminary census report by June 2024.
We anticipate or we're working towards bringing on board the international consultant that would assist with the data analysis and processing mid-February. The consultant will be engaged for a duration of 3 months. So bearing that in mind, we're working towards having the preliminary report for the census and the accompanying results sometime around May to June of this year.
Mathern added that preparatory work has commenced with the Ministry of Agriculture to undertake an agricultural and fisheries census during this financial year. He, however, said that a small number of enumerators are still on the ground completing the enterprise census.
We anticipate that this data collection phase for the enterprise census will extend into March, and thereafter we would move to the phase of data analysis and processing for the enterprise census.
The Central Statistics Office will soon launch 2 strategic initiatives that will position the department to better serve the data needs of the public. The first is a national strategy for the development of statistics. This is an action plan for the development of statistics consistent with government's medium-term development strategy.
The other strategic initiative is that we have ongoing is the revision and strengthening of the existing Statistical Act. We have been collaborating with the Attorney General Chambers in that regard to strengthen our existing Statistical Act, and also we will be seeking the services of a consultant to review that act before it's presented to Parliament.
The Director of Statistics, in thanking the public, also appealed for their continued cooperation in the ongoing enterprise census and soon to be launched agricultural and fisheries censuses.
Because this information is invaluable as it relates to the formulation of policies and as it relates to decision making at the highest, and also at the business level, students who also require this for the SBAs. So it's critical that the public collaborate with our enumerators to ensure that that the data that we're requesting is provided.
Enumerators should present an ID card bearing the logo of the Central Statistics Office and the name of the enumerator. However, he said, if a respondent has any safety concerns about the authenticity of an enumerator, they can contact the office at telephone numbers 468-1577 or 452-4410. For the National Competitiveness and Productivity Council, Glenn Simon reporting.
That's the news this hour. I am Makiba Eiffel. Thanks for watching.